Good morning, dear students. Now, this is the last chapter from Botany paper 2nd, Morphology and Anatomy. The chapter 5, Internal Organization of Primary Plant Body. So, in the previous lecture, we knows about the primary plant body. The primary plant body is composed of root, stem and leaf. So, after seed germination, the plumule develops into the aerial shoot that bears lateral appendages, that is the leaf, while roots develop the radical develops the primary root. So root, stem and leaf, that comprises the primary plant body. Here we are dealing with the internal organization, means internal structure of the plant body, that is root, stem and leaf. So in this chapter, we are going to study the internal structure of primary plant organs, that is root, stem and leaf. The plants has been classified into two types, dicotyledons and monocotyledons. So the difference between dicot and monocot is the dicot plants having two cotyledons in the seed, the leaf having reticulate venation, while the root shows taproot system. While monocots having single cotyledonous seed, leaf having parallel venation, while the adventitious root system has been present. So these are the morphological differences between dicotyledonous plants and monocotyledonous plant. In this chapter, we are dealing with the internal structure. These are the anatomical structures of the primary plant body, that is the root, stem and leaf. So in this chapter, we are going to study the internal structure of the dicotyledon or dicot root. Similarly, the internal structure of monocotyledon root, then internal structure of dicotyledon stem and monocotyledon stem, and lastly the internal structure of dicotyledon leaf and monocotyledon leaf. So one by one we are going to study the internal structure of the primary plant body, that is the root, stem and leaf. Okay, so the first point is the introduction to this chapter. As you know that the plant body develops from the embryo which is present in the seed, and that embryo germinate into the root and stem. Embryo consists of root initials and shoot initials. So these root initials develops into the primary root, while shoot initials develops the aerial stem. So this primary plant body that has been developed from the embryo into the root and stem, and later this stem bears the leaves. So we are going to study the internal structure of root, stem and leaf. If we consider these two organs, that is the root and stem, the root and stem form a continuous structure called the axis of the plant body, and the vascular structure is in continuous form from the root to the stem. So the xylem, which forms a conducting strand from a root to the stem, and it is in a continuous form. So the water continuity has been maintained from root to the stem of the plant. So the root and the stem, they form a continuous structure called as the axis of the plant body, and on which the leaves has been developed aerially on the stem. The epidermis, cortex, endodermis, pericycle, etc. are continuous in the root and stem, but the arrangement of the vascular bundles is quite different in these two organs, that is root and stem. So if we see the TS of the root and stem, the structures that has been occurred from outside towards the inner side are epidermis, cortex, endodermis, pericycle and vascular bundle, and at the center there is a presence of a pith. So these are continuous in the two organs, that is the root and stem, but if we see the arrangement of the vascular bundles, it is quite different in the two organs, that is root and stem. The stem possesses collateral vascular bundles with endarched xylem. So what is the meaning of the collateral vascular bundle? Here the xylem and the phloem that has been present on the same radius, that is the collateral, with endarched xylem means protoxylem towards center and metaxylem towards periphery. So this is found in the stem, whereas the root possesses radial vascular bundle where vascular tissues such as xylem and phloem, they are arranged on alternate radius. The vascular bundle contains either xylem or phloem. So the xylem and the phloem are present alone in the vascular bundle, and the arrangement of the vascular bundle, it is radial means xylem and phloem are present on alternate radius with exarched xylem means protoxylem towards periphery and metaxylem towards center. So this is the exarched. Endarched means protoxylem towards center and metaxylem towards periphery. Exarched, protoxylem towards periphery and metaxylem towards center. Okay, so these are the differences between the type of the vascular bundle and the arrangement of the vascular tissue, that is the xylem, in the stem and root. In the stem, vascular bundles are collateral with endarched xylem, whereas the root possesses radial vascular bundles with exarched xylem. So here, one by one, we are going to study the internal structure of the dicot root, monocot root, dicot stem, dicot leaf and monocot leaf. So here in this lecture we are going to study the internal structure of both dicot and monocot root. Okay, so the first internal structure of dicotyledon root. A cross section, a TS through a dicot root in the primary state of growth shows the following tissue from outside to the inside. So what are the tissues that has been present from outside to the inner side? In case of root, the epidermis, it is called as epiblema. So from outside towards inner side, the tissues occurred are epiblema, then cortex, then endodermis, pericycle and vascular bundles, and at the center there is a presence of a pith. Okay, so these are the tissues occurred from outside to the inner side when we take the TS of the young dicot root. So the first region that occur is the epiblema, which is the outermost layer. The epiblema is the outermost layer of young root and is also known as rhizodermis. Epiblema is single layered. So here we can see the epiblema, which is the outermost. It is single layered. It is also called as rhizodermis. So this word rhizo, it is present on the root, so the word used is the rhizo. So epiblema, it is also called as the rhizodermis and is single layered. The epidermal cell elongations are tubular. These are the elongations which are tubular, unicellular, single celled extensions called the root hairs. So root hairs are performing the function of absorption of water and minerals from the soil. So root hairs are the outgrowth that has been occurred on the epiblema. These are the cell elongations which are tubular and unicellular extensions called as the root hair. And these root hairs absorb water and minerals from the soil. Next to this is the cortex. So after epiblema, the next region or the layer occur is the cortex. Epiblema is single layered outermost. Then cortex, here we can see the cortex which having a many layers. So cortex is multi-layered and composed of parenchymatous cells. So these are the simple tissue which mainly function for the storage. It forms the ground tissue. So cortex, it is multi-layered and composed of parenchymatous cells. The cells are arranged regularly both radially and in concentric circles. The cells of the cortex are thin-walled with intercellular spaces. So a space between the cell we can see here. These are the intercellular spaces. So these cells are thin-walled with intercellular spaces. Cortical cells often contain starch. So it is the store centers of the root. It often contain the starch. chloroplasts are absent in the cortical cells of the root. The innermost layer of the cortex as known as endodermis. So this is the innermost layer of the cortex which is called as the endodermis. The main function of the cortex, I was told you previously, that is storage of the food material, because it is made up of parenchymatous cells. These cells are thin walled which stores the food material. So the main function of the cortex is the storage of the food material and translocation of water and solutes to the conducting elements. The conducting elements are xylem and phloem. So the main function is the storage of the food material and the translocation of water and solute to the xylem elements to the conducting elements. Then next to the cortex, it is the endodermis. It is the innermost layer of the cortex. So endodermis, it is single layered and well differentiated from the innermost layer of the cortex. So here up to the cortex. So the arrow I am showing here, it is the innermost part of the cortex. After that, to the inner side of the cortex, a single layered, continuous layer that has been well differentiated from the innermost layer of the cortex has been present. It is called as the endodermis. The cells are living, are characterized by the presence of Casparian strips in their walls. Cytoplasm of the endodermal cells is always in contact with the Casparian strips. So it is the one of the way of communication with the adjacent layers. The endodermal cells are living. They are characterized by the presence of Casparian strips in their walls. The Casparian strips, these are the band-like thickenings of the suberin. The deposition of suberin restricted to the middle labella of the radial walls. So this is about the endodermis. The thin-walled passage cells are present opposite to the protoxylem. So what is the protoxylem? So here in this diagram we can see this is the protoxylem. Protoxylem is the xylem element with small diametered vessels having a small size. Here we can see the protoxylem. While the metaxylem which having a large diameter. Here we can see the metaxylem. This is the metaxylem. This one is the metaxylem. Okay. So if you see the structure of the protoxylem and the metaxylem, the protoxylem is a small in size, metaxylem is large in size. Protoxylem having a small diameter while metaxylem having a large diameter. So the thin walled passage cells are present opposite to the protoxylem. Here is the protoxylem. So here a thin walled passage cells has been present on the endodermis opposite to the protoxylem. The close contact between the cytoplasm and the Casparian strips control the movement of the materials in the roots. The water and minerals can pass through the passage cells which ultimately reach the xylem stem. Here the endodermis is suberized because due to the deposition of suberin. Here the contact has been maintained by means of a passage cell which are present opposite to the protoxylem. So water and minerals that has been transported across the endodermis through the passage cells and that ultimately reach to the xylem stand which are opposite to the passage cells. And the inner side of the endodermis, that is the present of the stele which is differentiated into pericycle, vascular bundles and pith. Okay. So this is about the endodermis. Now next to the endodermis is a single layered pericycle. So pericycle, it is single layered, thin walled and parenchymatous. So in this diagram, this is the pericycle which is present next to the endodermis. The pericycle is single layered, thin walled and parenchymatous. It lies just below the endodermis. The pericycle is capable of meristematic growth. So the cells of the pericycle are divisible, they dividing and add new cells. It gives rise to lateral root primordia and parts of the vascular cambium. So lateral root primordia, these are the initials for the lateral root. So the lateral root formation takes place through the cells of the pericycle because they are capable of meristematic growth. So these cells of the pericycle gives rise to the lateral root primordia and the parts of the vascular cambium. So the cambium that has been present in the vascular bundle, it is the vascular cambium. So it gives rise to the parts of vascular cambium. Next to this is the vascular tissue. So vascular tissue, there are two vascular tissues, xylem and phloem. So the arrangement of vascular tissue in the dicot root is alternate and radial. So what is this alternate and radial? Here vascular bundle consists of either xylem or phloem, or one can say that the vascular tissues are present alone in the vascular bundle. The vascular bundle contain either xylem or phloem. This is the alternate vascular bundle where the xylem and phloem are arranged radially on alternate radii. They are arranged alternately on different radius. Here suppose here is the xylem, then phloem, xylem, phloem, xylem, phloem. So both xylem and phloem has not been present in the same vascular bundle. They are present in different vascular bundle. The arrangement is alternate. After xylem there is phloem, again xylem, then phloem. Okay, so such type of arrangement of the vascular bundle, it is alternate. More clearly if you zoom it, here this is the vascular bundle, this is the phloem bundle, this one is the xylem bundle. Phloem bundle, xylem bundle. So phloem and xylem, they are present in the different vascular bundles. Similarly, if you see their arrangement, its arrangement is radial and alternate, means vascular bundles, the xylem and phloem are present on alternate radius. Okay, alternate means one after the other. Suppose here is the phloem, then xylem. Here it clearly seen, it is the phloem, this one is the xylem. Phloem, xylem, phloem, xylem, phloem, xylem. So they are arranged alternately on different radii. Okay, so this is the arrangement of the vascular tissue, xylem and phloem. They are alternate and radial. The phloem is not present external to the xylem, but it alternates radially. Phloem, xylem, xylem, phloem. It alternates radially with the xylem. The primary xylem and primary phloem appear as separate bundles and represent on different radii. That is the arrangement of the alternate radial vascular bundle where xylem and phloem appears as a separate vascular bundle and that has been present on different radii. Xylem stand in dicot root vary in number. They are from 2 to 8. Xylem stand, they are vary in number 2 to 8 and are designated as, if there are 2 xylem stand, it is called as diarch. If there are 3, triarch, and maybe tetrarch. So in this diagram we see here, if we count the number of xylem stand, here is the 1, 2, 3, 4. So here is the xylem is tetrarch. 4 xylem stands has been present. Similarly, 4 phloem stands has been present. And both these stands, xylem and phloem stands, are present alternately on different radii. Okay. So the xylem is tetrarch in this diagram. If there are 2 xylem stands, then we can say it is diarch. If there are 3, we say triarch. But in this diagram, we found 1, 2, 3 and 4 xylem stands, so it is tetrarch. The xylem is exarch. Now this is another one characteristic of the internal structure of the dicot root. The xylem is exarch, means metaxylem facing towards the center while protoxylem located near the periphery. So here in this zoom we can clearly see this is the metaxylem. Okay, this one is the metaxylem, this one is the protoxylem. Protoxylem small sized vessels, large sized vessel, meta large, proto small. Metaxylem, it is directed towards the center while protoxylem, it is located near the periphery. So such condition is the exarch condition. So xylem is exarch, means metaxylem facing towards the center and protoxylem located near the periphery. Okay, so this is the characteristic of the root exarch xylem. Okay, Then the metaxylem are wider, as I was previously told you. Metaxylem are wider, protoxylem are smaller in size. Protoxylem lies near to the pericycle and opposite to the passage cells, where there is a entry of water and minerals. So here the passage cell that has been present in the endodermis. So protoxylem located or lies opposite to the passage cell, where there is an entry of water and minerals. Phloem patches are present alternately with the xylem strand. This is the xylem strand where the phloem patches has been present alternately. Here again xylem strand, phloem patches, xylem strand, phloem patches. So these phloem bundles or phloem patches are present alternately with the xylem strands. The phloem strands consist of sieve tubes, companion cells and phloem parenchyma. These are the components of the phloem that we studied in the types of tissue. This is the complex tissue. Phloem is a complex or vascular tissue. So phloem strand consists of sieve tubes, companion cells and phloem parenchyma. The parenchymatous conjunctive tissue. So this is an important character of the dicot root, where a parenchymatous conjunctive tissue occurs in between xylem and phloem. Here this is the xylem strand, this one is the phloem strand. So in between this is the parenchymatous conjunctive tissue. Again here also the conjunctive tissue is present between xylem and phloem. Here also conjunctive tissue which is present between xylem and phloem. So parenchymatous conjunctive tissue occurs in between xylem and phloem. Now the pith in dicot root, the parenchymatous pith is very small. So here we can see the pith region which is very small, and in old root pith get obliterated due to secondary growth. So this pith has been replaced by the cells of the secondary growth. So secondary growth occurs due to the vascular cambium, where the secondary xylem and secondary phloem has been formed. So the pith region has been replaced by the secondary xylem. So at the center we found here, this is the secondary xylem. So in the old root, this pith get replaced due to the secondary growth. So this is about the internal structure of the dicot root. So in the dicot root, the characteristic features we found are the vascular bundles are arranged, alternate and radial alternate vascular bundles we seen. Again the exarch condition we seen, xylem is exarch, means protoxylem towards periphery and metaxylem towards center. It is the exarch xylem. Further, if we count the number of xylem strands, there are 4 xylem strands we seen. So here is the tetra arch condition. So this is all about the internal structure of the dicot root. Now in comparison to this, we are going to study the internal structure of the monocot root. The layers or the regions from outside to the inner side are same, that is epiblema, cortex, endodermis, pericycle. But the vascular bundles that are found in the dicot root and the monocot root are different. Okay, so this difference we are studying here. So the transverse section, that is the TS of monocot root, shows the following anatomical details, that is epiblema, cortex, endodermis, pericycle and the central stele. Okay, so first one is the outermost layer, epiblema. So here is the epiblema, which is a single layered with a number of unicellular root hairs. These root hairs are absorptive in function, they absorb water and minerals. So epiblema is the outermost layer which shows the elongations, tubular elongations called as the root hairs, and these root hairs absorb water and minerals from the soil. The epidermal cells are small and compactly arranged and generally uniseriate. Uniseriate, they are single layered, uniseriate. But in many orchids, the epidermis becomes multi-layered or multiseriate and is known as velamen. So in orchids, it is known as velamen because it is multi-layered, multiseriate. They are arranged like a palisade cell. They are compact like a palisade cells. The cells are non-living and serve as sponge. They store large amount of water and air. So they are function like a sponge. They store large amount of water and air. Exodermis is generally present as a thick-walled suberized cells possessing living cell contents. This layer is often regarded as protective layer. So epiblema perform the protection function. The epiblema also retained water if it is multi-layered, multiserrate in case of orchids, for example Vanda, where these epidermal cells are arranged like a palisade cells. These cells are non-living and serve as a sponge. They store large amount of water and air. So this is about the epiblema, which is the outermost layer or the covering. Next to the epiblema, it is the cortex. So it lies just below the epidermis or epiblema. It is made up of few layers of thin-walled parenchymatous cell. In dicot root also we found the cortex is multi-layered with thin-walled parenchymatous cell. Similar type of cortex also seen in the monocot root. The cells are loosely arranged, means the intercellular spaces are present. The chief function is the storage of the food material. Okay, so in both dicot root and monocot root, the cortex is similar. It is multi-layered. The cells are loosely arranged. These layers are made up of thin-walled parenchymatous cells and chief function is storage of food material. Then endodermis. It is present next to the cortex. So it is the innermost layer of the cortex. It is single layered, composed of barrel shaped cells. It is single layered. In dicot root also it is single layered. The radial and inner walls are extremely thick as compared to the outer wall. The thickening of the wall is due to the deposition of suberin. So this we also seen in the dicot root. The few thin-walled passage cells are present opposite to the protoxylem. Here also we can found the passage cell opposite to the protoxylem. Protoxylem, small sized xylem component. Large sized xylem component, that is the metaxylem. So this is the metaxylem, protoxylem. Okay. So a thin-walled passage cells are present opposite to the protoxylem, which are meant for deposition of water and minerals from root hair to the xylem. Xylem is present towards the inner side. Root hairs are present towards outer side. So the water from soil has been absorbed by the root hair and it has been traveled through cortex, endodermis, pericycle into the xylem. So the endodermis, which is a thick walled because of the deposition of the suberin, but at the same time there is a presence of passage cell in the endodermis. So water through the passage cell enters into the xylem, more precisely to the protoxylem, because it is present opposite to the passage cells. Okay. Now next to the endodermis there is a presence of a single layered pericycle. So it is a single layered and made up of thin walled cells. So here in this diagram we can see clearly, this is the pericycle. It forms a continuous layer. The cells are thin walled. It is single layered. Its function is to give rise to lateral roots that we seen in the dicot root also. The still is central cylinder of the root. Here we can see this is the central cylinder of the root, which is a still, consists of intrastellar ground tissue and radially arranged vascular bundle. Again, the arrangement of the vascular bundle is radial and alternate. The xylem and phloem are present on different radii. So the vascular bundles are arranged radially. So in detail we see here vascular tissue. Okay, these are the vascular tissue, xylem and phloem, which makes the vascular bundle. So vascular tissue consists of alternating strands of xylem and phloem. Here we can see this is the phloem, this one is the xylem, metaxylem, protoxylem, phloem, xylem. Again phloem, here is the phloem, xylem. Here phloem, xylem, xylem, xylem. So the xylem and phloem that are present on different or alternate vascular bundles, and they are arranged on different radii. Xylem is polyarch. If we count the number of xylem strands here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it is more than 4. So here it is polyarch. While in case of dicot root, they are diarch, triarch, or maybe tetrarch. In the diagram that we seen in the dicot root, it is tetrarch. But in the monocot root, it is polyarch, which is xylem strand is polyarch. Protoxylem vessels are small, having annular and spiral thickenings, while metaxylem, so this arrow, it is the metaxylem. Here is the metaxylem. The small, which is protoxylem. So protoxylem, which is towards periphery, metaxylem towards center. So such condition is a exarch condition. So protoxylems are small, having annular and spiral thickenings, while metaxylem vessels are large, broad, they possesses reticulate and pitted thickenings. Such thickenings we seen in the types of tissue. Okay. Xylem is a exarch, protoxylem towards periphery, metaxylem towards center. Okay. So protoxylem elements are towards the periphery, metaxylem elements are towards the center. The phloem consists of sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem, parenchyma. Vascular bundles are radial. They are arranged on different radii. Here is the xylem strand. This one is the phloem strand. So they are arranged on different radii, and the arrangement is alternate. After xylem, phloem. Then again xylem, then phloem. Xylem, phloem. The arrangement is alternate. Okay. So the vascular bundles are radial and alternate. They are arranged on different radii. There are only one vascular tissue in the vascular bundle, either xylem or phloem. So we say this is the xylem strand because it is only composed of xylem. Here only phloem is present. It is the phloem strand. They are arranged alternately on different radii. Now the pith, the central part of the stele, is occupied by the well-developed pith here. In dicot root, the pith has been replaced by the secondary tissue, that is the secondary xylem and secondary phloem. So mostly the secondary xylem replace the pith. So in the monocot root, here we can clearly see in the pith region, the stele is occupied by well-developed pith. The pith is generally parenchymatous. The cells are loosely arranged with the intercellular spaces. In some monocotyledonous plant, the pith is sclerenchymatous. For example, canna. But in most monocots, it is parenchymatous. It is generally parenchymatous, but in canna, it is sclerenchymatous. Pith is sclerenchymatous. So pith is the central part of the stele and is occupied by the well-developed parenchymatous cells, and in some monocotyledonous plants, the pith is sclerenchymatous. So this is all about the internal structure of the dicot root and monocot root. In case of dicot root, the characteristic features are vascular bundles are arranged radial and alternate. Xylem strands are exarch. The presence of parenchymatous conjunctive tissue in between xylem and phloem strand has been seen in the dicot root. The xylem strands are tetra-arch, while in case of monocot, the vascular bundles are radial and alternate. Xylem strands are exarch, same. Xylem strand is polyarch. Many xylem strands has been present. Poly, many, and there is a well-developed pith. A parenchymatous conjunctive tissue not seen in between the xylem and phloem. Okay, so this is all about the internal structure of the dicot root and monocot root. This is all for today. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe.